Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. 3 Conservative MPs have resigned from the party over Brexit and what they call the Tory shift to the right. Anna Soubry, Sarah Wollaston and Heidi Allen will all now sit with the new independent group made up of 8 former Labour MPs who left their party earlier this week. In a joint letter to Theresa May, the 3 said the party was in the grip of the Democratic Unionists and of hardline Brexiteers, and that leaving the EU had redefined the Conservative Party, undoing all the efforts to modernise it. Theresa May said she was saddened, but that her party would always offer decent, moderate and patriotic politics. Here's our correspondent, Nick Eardley.
Have said that a UK-wide immigration policy is the correct route, and that is right for minority businesses.
This might look fairly normal, but it's a big deal here. These 3 should turn left, but turning right shows they've just resigned from the Conservative Party. Taking their seats in a new political home, Heidi Allen, Anna Soubry and Sarah Wollaston, joining former Labour MPs in a new independent group.
It certainly feels different up here on these benches today, that's for sure.
The 3 now former Conservatives said in a letter, Brexit has redefined the Conservative Party, undoing all the efforts to modernise it. There has been a dismal failure to stand up to the Brexit-supporting ERG. We haven't changed, the Conservative Party has, and it no longer reflects the values and beliefs we share with millions of people throughout the United Kingdom. The party's deputy chairman, James Cleverly, was told of the resignations live on air.
Heidi Allen, Anna Soubry and Sarah Wollaston have resigned from the Conservative Party. What is your reaction?
Well, it's obviously it's disappointing. It's very sad and disappointing.
This all began on Monday when 7 Labour MPs quit their party. They've now been joined by an 8th, Joan Ryan, and there are warnings more could follow.
I can no longer ask people to vote for Jeremy Corbyn to be Prime Minister of this country because I don't believe he's fit to be Prime Minister of this country.
This is no longer a one-party issue. Labour MPs and Conservative MPs are both saying we've had enough. We can no longer support the party that we've been members of for years. The impact that this will ultimately have on the British political landscape won't be clear for weeks, potentially months. But what is clear is that the historic allegiances in Parliament are fraying. Will they fray further? Will there be more Conservative and Labour MPs joining forces soon? At a turbulent political time, more questions about the future, with answers that are far from clear. Nick Eardley, BBC News, Westminster.
Well, our assistant political editor Norman Smith is in Westminster for us. Norman, first of all, how big a blow is this for Theresa May?
Oh, it's a biggie, all right. It's a blow just psychologically, losing 3 of your MPs from already battered and bruised Prime Minister. It's a biggie in terms of the numbers. A minority government becomes ever more of a minority, making it harder to get non-Brexit votes through. It's a biggie because of what they say about the modern Tory party, that Mrs May has failed to stand up to the sort of hard-right European research group, that it's no longer the open-hearted, tolerant, one-nation Tory party that they believe in. And I suppose on the other side, it could potentially be a big moment for this fledgling new independent group. They now number 11, the same as the Liberal Democrats. They've still got a bit of momentum. The danger was they launched on Monday and fizzled out by Wednesday. They're still going. And the fact these are 3 women may bolster their claim to try and stand for a different sort of politics, a more inclusive, welcoming sort of politics. Now, there's a long, long way to go, but be in no doubt, today is a big day.
And Norman, what are these defections now likely to do to the Brexit parliamentary arithmetic?
Well, on the face of it, they won't make any difference to the Brexit numbers. These 11 MPs, the 3 latest defectors, they're always going to vote against pretty much whatever Mrs May does in Brexit. So in the raw numbers, you'd say, not going to make much difference. However, it could have a significant impact on both parties. For those Tory Remainers, those ministers who've been mulling over whether they should rebel against Mrs May over this deal, their decision, the fact that it takes courage to abandon your party, may stiffen their sinews and embolden them to rebel against Mrs May. And on the Labour side, it may yet push Mr Corbyn ever closer to backing another referendum if he fears by not doing so there could be another hemorrhage of Labour MPs to this new movement.
Thanks, Norman. Norman Smith there. Let's go back now to our top story this lunchtime. 3 Conservative MPs have resigned from the party over Brexit and what they call the Tory shift to the right. Well, our assistant political editor, Norman Smith, is in Westminster for us. And Norman, I gather they're speaking now, the 3 MPs.
They are holding a press conference on a day which may yet turn out to be an historic day. We don't know. What we do know is that this is the first time in modern history we've seen a clutch of Conservatives defect in this way. Yes, we've seen individual Conservatives leave one by one over different issues, but this is the first time we've seen a coordinated move by a group of Tory MPs who believe they can no longer remain in a party which they say has abandoned its one nation roots. And at that news conference in the past few minutes, one of them, Heidi Allen, has been explaining why she decided to leave.
I love my constituency. It is bursting with innovation and a desire to challenge the status quo. I love that my constituents want to share their talents and their discoveries to make the world a better place and to tackle inequalities. My constituents make my head and my heart fizz with possibilities. I want to feel that way in Westminster too. I am tired of feeling numb. So today, alongside my wonderful colleagues, I have resigned from the Conservative Party.
Crucial now will be how does the Tory party respond. Already some backbenchers are demanding they face by-elections. Others have said the 3 will remain friends and they want to keep up a dialogue with them. Mrs May has rejected their suggestion. She's turned her back on one nation Toryism, but she has chided them for ever thinking Brexit will be easy. And on that front, Mrs May returns to Brussels tonight to continue with the Brexit negotiations. Who said being Prime Minister was ever easy?
Norman, many thanks.
3 members of Parliament have resigned from the Conservative Party to join the 8 former Labour politicians who've already moved to the independent group. Anna Soubry, Sarah Wollaston and Heidi Allen set out their reasons for leaving in a letter, a joint letter, to the Prime Minister. They said Brexit had redefined the Conservative Party, undoing all efforts to modernise it. Well, right now, the 3 women are giving a press conference. This is the House of Commons at the end of PMQs, waiting for business there. But we do have cameras. But there we are, Anna Soubry there at the press conference. Let's just hear very quickly what she's saying.
And you don't stay in it and skirmish in the margins when the truth is the battle is over and the other side has won. The right wing.
Well, we'll return to that press conference with Ms Soubry and the other 2 in a moment. But first, our political correspondent Dan Hewitt on today's breaking story.
This once Tory trio taking their seats and turning their backs on the Conservative Party. Heidi Allen, Anna Soubry and Sarah Wollaston confirming a week's worth of Westminster whispers this lunchtime, joining the ever-growing group of independent MPs.
I am tired of feeling numb. So today, alongside my wonderful colleagues, I have resigned from the Conservative Party.
Less than an hour ago, at Prime Minister's questions, they shook hands, smiled and laughed with their new colleagues as Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn attempted to put on their best brave faces, completely ignoring the fact that this week 11 MPs have quit their parties because of their leadership. The Prime Minister learnt of the latest deeply damaging departure in this 11 o'clock letter. Brexit has redefined the Conservative Party, wrote Allen, Soubry and Wollaston, undoing all the efforts to modernise it. We find it unconscionable that a party once trusted on the economy more than any other is now recklessly marching the country to the cliff edge of no deal. Theresa May said she was saddened by their departure, but those that are staying for now say it was inevitable.
The Prime Minister has decided to take a particular approach here, which seems to be force us into a room up against a wall and be given a choice between something that we know isn't very good versus something that's even worse. That isn't a meaningful choice, and I do wish that she would change direction, even at this late stage.
Those Tory resignations come after Labour lost its 8th MP, Joan Ryan, resigning late last night, citing Jeremy Corbyn's failure to tackle anti-Semitism, and it appears she's unlikely to be the last.
I think you have to keep thinking about things. You have to keep thinking about how you're serving your community. Are you doing the right thing? And I will constantly ask myself that.
I would be lying if I said that it doesn't make me feel queasy, the idea of staying in a political party where a Jewish woman doesn't feel safe. That is something I came into politics to fight against with every fibre of my being.
This group now has enough MPs to form a football team, one more, and they'll be bigger than the Lib Dems, and ignoring them will no longer be an option. Daniel Hewitt, ITV News, Westminster.
We gave you a taste of that press conference just a moment ago. Our political correspondent, Libby Wiener, has been monitoring each and every word of it, and she joins me live now. Libby, how significant do you yourself think this all is?
Well, Alistair, I think it's very significant indeed. Not a body blow to the Prime Minister, but it certainly undermines her. She's just about to go back to Brussels this afternoon for another meeting with Jean-Claude Juncker, the EU Commission President. She is hoping to get some concessions on her deal. And here we have 3 Conservatives saying that she has handled Brexit disastrously. It's not what she would have wanted, and you would have thought perhaps an open goal for the Labour leader at Prime Minister's questions just now, but that session was more intriguing for what was not said than for what was said. He effectively ignored it altogether because, of course, he has huge problems of his own with an 8th Labour defector announcing her departure overnight.
Libby, thank you.